What's good, people? Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the channel. Thought we'd do a little bit of a show today talking about some of this transfer window stuff towards the end of it, which is only a few days left. And to do that with, it was his birthday yesterday, so he missed last night's show. He's back with us. LB, what you telling me, fam? You good?
Yeah, I'm all good. I gotta apologise to both of you boys, man, because I had shows with Saeed and you
Nah, man.
yesterday, and I just completely kind of forgot, not forgot it was my birthday, but just forgot that I was doing shit. So yeah, big up lads, appreciate it, and
Nah, enjoy yourself, man. Enjoy yourself, bro.
yeah,
29, man. You're getting on now, innit? It's good.
bro. You know what? It's kind of crazy. I've just been sat in there watching A Place in the Sun. Can you fucking believe this? I'm getting old,
Yeah.
man.
Listen,
Mate,
hopes in the hammer. You start watching everything, man. When you get to like your early 30s and whatnot.
if you're getting old, what am I getting? I'm 35, man. Gee, I'm definitely getting old.
Yeah, you
So
old. You old,
I'm
man.
too old, man. Old man, get my pipe and my armchairs, my walking stick soon. Saeed, big up, man. Thanks for coming on. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm not too bad, man. Not too bad. Obviously, big game coming up this weekend. But listen, transfer window. I don't really feel like it feels like a. You know what it is, yeah, guys. I feel like this transfer window has been too long. I remember it was like a 2 weeks early, wasn't it, or something like that. I feel like it's been on for ages for some reason, and I just feel like you know what, man. It don't feel the hype of a transfer window. It don't. It don't give you that. It used to be back in the day when you used to watch Sky Sports, sit down. But I think Twitter kind of almost like I don't know. It saturates everything. You hear stories, you hear transfer news. So yeah, man, looking forward to obviously that, and then yeah, man, just any business that we could get done because we need some players, man. And boy, we're linked with the wrong players, but we'll get into it. But nice one for having me on. Big up to everybody who's here, and yeah, smash the like button on the video.
Nice one, man. Always welcome both of you. And let's start. I want to start randomly. I want to start away from all three of our clubs, man. I want to start with Mo Salah because there's a lot of murmurings about this Saudi move. And I'll start with you, Saeed. Like,
Yeah.
I know Liverpool don't want him to go, right? I get that. But do you think Salah could push for this last and do a madness? Like, we're talking, what, 4 days left or whatever it is? If Salah wants to go, they're talking about it being 250,000
Mm.
pounds like deal a day just to literally go live over there and play football over there. He's basically going over there to make 200 odd million in a year and just be set for life. I mean, he's set for life anyway, to be fair, but you get my point. Like, could he do this to Liverpool last minute?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think he will because I just feel like Klopp knows the importance of Liverpool. Sorry, Salah. I think you've seen it with the goal, the assist that he brought into to Nunes. He could do that. He's probably their most efficient player. You know, the one that he can probably rely on the most. I just think it would be absolutely crazy for Liverpool to sell him this late on in the window. Had it been at the earliest start, you always have a bombshell. You had it with Neymar, you had it with so many players. You get it at the start of the window, you're like, okay, cool. They look like they're set to leave, and you kind of understand that they're going. But to leave him now, I think Liverpool fans, you know, with any sort of hope that they have this season, it rests with Mo Salah. You know, the rest of them are not world class. The rest of them are not inevitable. They don't, you know, they don't like for me. Salah's been our nemesis for so many years. When we go to Anfield, we just fear Salah. And I feel like ultimately, you know, you don't get that with other players. And you know what, man? I would love him if he left because that means Liverpool then, you know what I mean? They don't really, you kind of not, you don't look at them in the same way. But I don't see them selling, even if it comes to 150 million, they can still sell that next year. Like, you know, I still think they can get a lot of money next year for him. I think he's still got what, a year left next year on his contract. They can still get a lot of money for Salah. He doesn't have to leave this season, but I would love it if he left, man, because boy, he's tortured a lot of teams, City as well, Arsenal as well. Like, bro, this guy is just it's just too much. He's a goal scoring machine when you deep it like from the wing. I just think he's a crazy player in that regards. But yeah, man, I think for me it's gonna be too little too late. I think had they done this at the start of the window, I think it would have made sense. But not now, not for me.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think Klopp will just say, nah, it ain't happening now. Like, no chance. And LB, I'll come to you. We know Liverpool have got over 100 million because they put that down for Caicedo. If they were to accept, let's say, 150 for Salah, they've got over 250 million in the last few days to try and sort out a right back, centre
Yeah.
back, and holding midfielder. Do you think that could happen? That could be a madness, or do you think Salah's they've got to keep him and spend that 100 million on those positions anyway?
Yeah, problem is, Dan, yeah, it's like, who are they going to go and get? You know what I mean? Like, it's very easy to say, oh, they'll have 250 million sat in the bank account. Who is there out there? Do you know what I mean? Like, who is there out there that they could go and get that would massively strengthen their positions in centre back, in maybe a full back, centre defensive mid, and then you've got to try and replace Salah's goals as well. I'm kind of with Saeed on this one in that, like, listen, I'd love for him to go because that'd be us as sort of like title challenges on that, but I just don't think Liverpool can afford to do it, man. I think we spoke about it on like a show recently. I can't remember if it was one of your shows about like how much would you have to sell him for? And I'm telling you, man, I'm not even picking up the phone unless it's like 125, 130, 140 minimum. And then I'm still considering the fact that I'd rather just keep the player. Look, for Salah, obviously, he's got a decision to make because he's 31 going on 32. He's not going to be playing for Champions League football until he's at least, 32 years old, I think. Because obviously they're not in it this year. They're probably not going to challenge for the title this year. They might get close. They might have a bit of a run, but I still think that they're lacking a little bit. You know, you might fancy it. You know what I mean? You see Mahrez make the trip out there. You might fancy it, but Liverpool just they can't allow it.
Do you think he'll regret it, LB? If he doesn't, do you think he would regret it? I know he can go again, but like,
nah, because he can go next year. Like, what's the difference between now and next year, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to make a difference to him. Like, let's be honest, the Saudi League, like, it's going to pick up and it's going to be strong, but him delaying it by 1 year is not going to make much of a difference, to be honest with you. So you can.
That's my point.
You can wait.
This is my issue. I don't think he's going to delay anything. I think for me, you know, there's no rush. I don't think he's at that age where I think once you go like 31, 32, you're not that old. Like, I reckon when you get to like 34, you're kind of looking at thinking, this is probably my last big kind of like contract. You know, if I don't leave now, that money might not be there next year because it might move on somewhere else. But I think because he's 31 now, next summer he'll be 32. He can still play for another 3-4 years, easy in the Saudi league. You know, he can either transition himself to a striker, or you know what I mean. Especially in that league, no disrespect to that league, but it's not a league where it's demanding in terms of physically and mentally. For Mo Salah. So, yeah, I think he'd be all right, man. But again, like I said, money talks, man. You know what I mean? He looks at the Liverpool ambition. Are they going to win a title this year? Are they challenging for the Premier League? I don't think so for me. You know, he's in the Europa League now. Next year, there's no guarantee of being back in the Champions League. He might look at it and think, you know what? Is it probably better if I go in that regards? You know? So...
Well, like a lot of people were saying Mbappe, there's a few people in the chat, Mbappe, but I don't see that. I don't think he'll come to Liverpool. They're in the Europa League.
No, they ain't got the funds like that.
But
no.
My point is, I mean, he's not going to go, but my point is, like LB saying, how do you replace Salah? You have to go to that level to replace Salah, wouldn't you? You'd have to go get Mbappe level because Salah's top class. We're talking like world class. Do you know what I'm saying? There's probably not many in the right wing position right now that you look at and think, right, there's 6 or 7 that are up there with Salah. It's hard to even find more than 3 at the moment. So,
bro, you ain't gonna. This is the problem, isn't it, Dan? Like, listen, this is his stats. This is Prem only, yeah. 2017, 32 goals, 11 assists. 2018, 22 goals, 10 assists. 2019, 19 and 10. 2020, 22 and 5. 2021, 23 and 14. 2022, 19 and 12. He's already hit 3 and 3. Bro, the Liverpool can't sell him. If the Saudis come in and say we'll give you 200 million paid in 12 months, I'd reject it. And people might be like, that is the dumbest thing ever. But this is what I said about Mahrez, man. And obviously it's on a lesser scale, but like it's all good people saying, oh, you're getting 120, 130, 140 for a 31-year-old. It's class. All right, now go and replace 35, 40 goals a season with that. Because who would you get? You're not getting any. People they might say, oh, we'll get Mbappe. Give over. I'm not being funny. Mbappe is not going to make a move from Paris to Liverpool. He's not going to do that. He's not going to do that.
Agreed.
So
I agree,
sometimes getting that big cash, Dan, it ain't always the be all and end all. Sometimes having the player there is more important. So if I was Liverpool, I'd be more concerned about his contract running out. He's running out in 2 years. You know what I mean? He'll be only 33 when that contract runs out. I'd be looking at that thinking, hang on a minute. He's still got over 30 goals and assists last year. He's already got 3 and 3 this year. I'd be looking at extending that by another year. Because as Saeed said, you know what I mean? People need to delay. When we was growing up, maybe as like kids and that, we was like in our teenage years, like when you got to 31, 32, you'd see a dip. Players are playing until they're 35, 36. Look at Modric. You know what I'm saying? And Salah, I don't think Salah's going to be a player that will dip off when he's 33. So if I was Liverpool, I'd be more concerned about getting him on a new contract and getting him an extra year, personally.
Yeah, so then
Yeah, man.
so the value goes up in that regard. Yeah, I agree with you in that sense. But listen, you know what it is with me now? The Saudi Arabian football now is it's the money's more tempting, and B, like, it's just generational wealth, man. Like, you can't really put yourself in that position unless you've been offered that money. You can't. And I know.
And I agree with that,
us-
Saeed, 100%. But he will have that offer in 2 years' time. And then
yeah,
he can go on a free transfer. He could think to himself, let me run this contract down with Liverpool. I go Saudi Arabia in 2 years, get a massive sign-on fee, and still get it. Them Saudis are not going to be like, oh, sorry, Salah, you're 33. And
We
we're
don't
not
want you
taking
now. Yeah.
it all
Yeah.
depends on their project, though. It depends on their project as well. Like, I'm not saying that the Saudi league is going to be like the China league. Like, I don't think it's going to bust, but you never know. FFP could get involved. You know, what I mean, some sort of wage cap might be introduced in that regard. You don't know what's going on yet. Like, it could be one of the situations. You know, when back in the day you went to uni and you had to like pay $3,000, and all of a sudden it becomes $9,000. You know what I mean? Because I went to uni when it was $9,000. It could be a situation where there could be a salary cap in that regards in Saudi Arabia. We don't know yet. And the ones that were before that, they keep their wages, and the ones that came after, they're on that new salary cap. So we don't know yet. Like, that's why life is all about just living in the moment. You know, you can't really think about 2 years' time. You never know. Injuries can come into play. You know, your performances can dip. You might not be the same player. Like, there's so many things in life. Like, that's why footballers now, like Neymar, he's just saying, you know what? I'm taking the money. Listen, I'm 31. I'm living it right. What are they offering me right now? You know what? I'm going to live for now, and I'm taking the money for now. Because these footballers, they don't think 4 or 5 years down the line. They just take it year by year. I generally do. I know they sign it, but in their minds, they change their minds. They don't know what, 1 minute they could be out of favor, 1 minute they're in favor. It's a very, very, risky business, football, man. You just don't know. You can never say never in
But
football.
one thing I would expand on that as well, you sort of touched on this before, Saeed, is like, if Liverpool was in the Champions League, this year, and they had a squad that could compete for the title, I think he'd make the decision easier for Salah, because I think he'd just be like, nah, you know what, I got unfinished business here. Because he, as a from a trophy haul point of view, he's obviously massively underachieved on that front, right? Because he should have won multiple Premier Leagues, multiple Champions Leagues of how good he is.
Yeah.
But because he's not in the Champions League, and he's not going to be in the Champions League till he's 32, and I don't know. I think they've got a decent team, and I think they won't be too far off City. But I don't think they've got enough to actually challenge us properly for the league. He might just be sitting there like Saeed's thinking and going, "Do I care about the Carabao Cup? No. Do I care about the FA Cup? No. Do I care about the UEFA Cup? No. What I care about, is a Champions League. We're not in it, and the Premier League." And he's probably looking at the team at Liverpool, going, "I don't know if we've got enough." And then not only that, he's probably looking at City and just going, "Fucking hell." Do you know what I mean? Saudi Arabia offered me what, £700,000 a week, tax free, whatever it is. And Saeed said that's generational wealth for his family and his generations of families to come. Like, listen, I agree with Saeed, and this is why I've never slagged off the Saudi league once. And I've said to you, Dan, I think the first show I ever done on a 12 man, and I was pretty much one of the only boys sticking up for it, because at the end of the day, people can say, "Oh, they shouldn't go there." You know what I mean? They've still got football to play in the European League. All right, I'll just say this. You know what I mean? I like to see you reject £700,000 tax free. And people say, well, they're not on a pittance. Yeah, but there's a difference. And Saeed said before, it's generational wealth. That's what they can be, literally, that player. And in 100, 200 years' time, if the world's still going, their family's going, "Oh, the reason why we're sorted financially and we can put bread on the table is because your great granddad played in Saudi Arabia for 3 years." And a few people slagged him off at the time, but now we're all eating. So listen, it's not easy, man. It's not easy.
No, absolutely,
definitely
man.
isn't.
I think when you look at the amount, we're talking like hundreds of millions of pounds here. We're not talking about hundreds of thousands anymore. This is a big move, man. And Salah will be a god out there as well. Like, we're talking absolute, like, bowing down to this guy. Everyone will go over there. They'll fill seats. Like Mahrez, you think Mahrez, Salah will be even more so for me. So, listen, it's going to be a mad one. But if Liverpool sell him, it's like laters. There's no title race for them. I mean, I don't even know that they will either. I know LB says he thinks they will. I don't see them. I'll ask you, Say, do you think Liverpool, like, defensively and in midfield, they look a shambles still, man? I don't think they're going to be title challengers.
No, I don't think they've done enough defensively for me. Obviously, Van Dijk, I just think for me, a couple of years ago, he wins that tackle, and you know what I mean? It's a different situation. I just think right now, he's still vulnerable. I think his defensive attributes, not that they've diminished, but I just think, the aura is kind of left in Van Dijk. It's not there anymore. I don't think he's an intimidating centre back anymore. I think he is prone to mistakes. I think the fullback areas are still, for me, a question mark, especially Trent. 1v1 defensively, he can be got at, and I think for me, he's vulnerable in that aspect. I don't even think Robertson's the same anymore. Robertson used to be one of the best fullbacks in the league. He still is in that regards, but I don't think he's what he used to be.
No.
I thought they were going to change that area. Left side is centre back as well. Obviously, they got Kanate, but he's their best defender, and he's again susceptible to injuries, and he does pick up a few niggles here and there. Midfielder balance isn't there for me. I just think ultimately, they've got a lot of similar players. I know Endo's coming, but he's very, very unknown in that regard. Yeah, man, I just think ultimately they haven't done enough for me. I just up front they're a Ferrari, but the back they're still a Fiat Mundo. Like it's not, it's not the best in the world. So, if they'd have bought maybe another centre defensive mid and one more defender, I would have put them up there as title contenders. I really do. But sometimes you need them little pieces together because Man City is strengthened at the back. A lot. One thing about Man City here, people say they're going to get weaker. They might not have done in terms of goals. Like they're not remember scoring as much goals as what they used to. But I tell you what, though, still defensively, I mean, how many goals have they conceded this year so far? I think is it what
One, I think.
Once is it one?
One
Wow.
against Sheffield United in the league, like obviously not like Super Cup and Charity Shield or whatever, but like in the league games.
Yeah.
Gavardio and Diaz, bro. Gavardio and Diaz as a centre back pairing. That's nuts, man.
Yeah, so
the best
and
in the world,
obviously,
isn't it?
you know what I mean. They've got Rodri in there, so I just feel like for me, if you're gonna beat Man City, you need to do 2-3 more better than them. You need to be prepared twice as much, and if you're not, then I'm sorry, man. If you're underprepared and City are still prepared in that aspect, and they're not over prepared but still prepared, then I'm sorry, man. It's not gonna work, man. It's not. And yes, they spent a lot of money in McAllister and Szoboszlai, but they needed a CDM and a good one, a one that we know is going to be at the levels to Rodri and Casemiro to the guys that are the best in the league. So I don't think they've done that. So
I agree. I agree with that because I've been back in Liverpool, yeah, and obviously Dan's been talking about this obviously with me a lot, but
yeah.
And whilst I agree with everything you just said, and I've come more around to sort of where Dan's position is on this, that they are weak, and they are. If you look at the defenders, Trent just can't defend. I know some Liverpool fans still try and fucking say that he can do it to a certain degree. He can't. He's a shit defender. Let's just put it there. Let's all focus on how good he is going forward, which we all know he is. But let's all just also say that he's shit defensively. Let's just speak facts on that. Facts. Kanate at the moment looks like they're their best defender. I said this is not me gloating for 1 minute. Van Dijk, bro, since that injury he had, he's just never been the same player, unfortunately. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to sit here and criticize him or roast him because I want to see the best players playing, and it's unfortunate because he was a colossus at the back. But since that injury, again, factual information, he's not been good enough. And I agree about Robertson. He seemed pretty tight, but the one thing that just gives me that sort of thing in my brain to say Liverpool are going to be up there, it's because, bro, their attack is so frightening.
Lethal.
Luis Diaz, bro. Mohamed Salah. I'm telling you, now, Darwin Núñez, guy got mocked last year. If you actually check his numbers out, he actually had a decent season on the numbers. And
I like him, man.
All he has to start doing, is converting 35% of those chances, which he badly missed last year. And he's getting 25 plus goals. Them 2 finishes against Newcastle was out of this world. Or I think they were underrated finishes. You know what I mean? People might say, oh, he's one-on-one. He's just put it, the difficult finishes. And that's the only reason. I hear everything you're saying, Dan, and I've come a little bit more around to your sort of side on this, but I just look at their attack, bro, and I think it's one of the best attacks in world football. Not just in the league, in world football.
And
Darwin's scary.
Listen, it's facts what you're saying, right? I just think if they were, I'm with Saeed, they're literally 2 players away from going for a title. And if they would have brought in Caicedo, if they would have got in, let's say like Mark Guehi from Palace, who they're tipped with, I don't think that's going to happen now. Let's say they bring him and Caicedo. I'm talking about Liverpool going for it, 100%. That's how close they are for me. And I think for me, without that, they just look so vulnerable at the back. And people talk about Arsenal having all these competitions. Liverpool have got all that as well. Yeah, they've got Europa League, and let me tell you, they're favourites to win that competition. There's going to be pressure for them to win that because they shouldn't be in out of the Champions League, not a club of that level, right? Where they've been. So for me, they've got to win that competition. So there's pressure on Liverpool, and I don't think they've done enough at the moment. I know there's days left for them to go to it, man. But listen, I want to move to our clubs because I mean, let's start with Arsenal because I want to get both your opinions because I haven't spoke to LB yet, and obviously Said as well. Just quickly, Lee Farrell, big up Lee. Says Potsy, what you think of Chelsea making a move for Emil Smith-Rowe, bro? This is a madness. Like if we even think about sending him to them, that's just mad for me. I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening, man. I don't see that happening. Like to be fair, Smith-Rowe's not getting in the side at the moment, so I can understand why they're sniffing around him and inquiring about it. But we can't be this obsession between Arsenal and Chelsea has just got to stop. It's just got to stop now for me. Like this obsession of taking each other's players around way, it's not working. Again, we've seen this season 3 games in. Doesn't look like this is going to work with Kai Havertz. We're giving them decent players like Ashley Cole. They're giving us Willians and Lewises and Petr Cechs when they're washed up. Let's forget about it, man. Like let's just stop this relationship between Arsenal and Chelsea, please. It's got to stop.
You need to go to Chelsea, man, and sort of balance out the fucking. That doesn't seem fair. What you just said, then they get Ashley Cole and you get fucking Willian, David
exactly,
and old Petr Cech. You need to go there and raid some of their players, man.
We do, man, but listen, who have they actually got at the moment that's looking top
You've got
quality?
some weird relationship, man. It's like
weird, man. I don't get it.
Well, this is why I don't want to get involved. And I know we'll talk about United, but I don't want to get involved. I just think for me, unless you're getting the best players at their clubs, you don't need to swap players. You don't. Like, I don't like pinching players from other clubs. I want to get players that we're not together. Like, go and get me someone that they don't know, but is still a proven player. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want anyone from any other club. Just something about because you know what it is. I watch it every day, so I'll know their qualities. So I'm like, you know what? Nah, not for me. Whereas with Rodri, I'm like, yeah, listen, bring Rodri all day long. You know, bring De Bruyne. You know, world-class players.
Yeah.
But these little players, I'm like, come on, man.
We've got to stop this now because we've done this to all of the clubs, by the way. We've strengthened United, Sanchez and Van Persie. We've strengthened City for years. Like before, remember we had Adebayor's and Torres and all those guys, Clichy, Sagnas, all these guys, yeah? We've done it with Chelsea over the years. Let's just stop this, man. Stop strengthening rivals. Smith-Rowe has to stay at Arsenal. We haven't got squad depth. He's good squad depth. The end of it, right? Balogun, they wanted him as well. We've told him no, he's going to go Monaco. So for me, no. But Saeed, let me, before we come into Arteta's crazy system, right? Are Arsenal actually stronger than last year? Because we've signed Declan Rice and Raya, who are stronger. But other than that, we still ain't strong enough, man, are we?
No, I don't think you are. And listen, I've been saying it. I said it on the Big Six, and I said it to a lot of people. I've been underwhelmed by Arsenal. I think for me, they would have been better than what they are. Yes, it's still early on in the season, but when you look at it, you signed Declan Rice, which is fair enough. That's a Xhaka replacement in that regard, even though I don't think it is a Xhaka like-for-like replacement. Then it's Havertz, Timber, which I like, but you lost Turley. So again,
that's
you
unlucky.
evened it out.
Timber's injury, that's unlucky.
Yeah, it's very, very injury. I think very, very unlucky. But that's kind of almost replaced, Tierney like for like in that regard. And then you've got who else have you bought as well? Is it one more player as well? You bought
Havertz, Timber, Raya, and Rice.
Yeah, Raya, which is obviously backup or whatnot. But apart from Declan Rice, and obviously Timber's out now, but you've only got 2 outfield players. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that it has to be better, especially if you want to win this league. I thought you would have bought a striker for me. I don't understand why Arsenal fans keep having this faith about Jesus. For me, when his injury record lately is not great. I think for me, you needed an extra striker, especially if Balogun's leaving. Eddie Nketiah, to be fair to him, he's done a good job. And you know what? He shouldn't be scrutinised in that regard. But let's be honest, you're playing Champions League now. You need better. I just expected a little bit more, and obviously Arteta's not helping as well by tricking the team. You know what I mean? If there's anything that you don't do, is change something that wasn't broken last season. Like, why would you do that? At least, the momentum of the first team playing would have carried on for the second season. But now you've messed it up. Now you've brought a player that you probably don't even need in Havertz. Then all of a sudden, everyone's getting a bit itchy, and everyone's getting a bit like, oh, what's going on here? Like, I don't really like this. And then what will happen is, some players will start maybe moaning in the dressing room like, why have you brought this guy here? We were playing so many better without him. It's almost like the odd cast. But then what the manager will do will say, hold on a minute, I'm the manager. Havertz is here to stay. Whether you like it or not, he will work and I will make it work. And that stubbornness in a manager can be a downfall for him. So I just don't get it why you've done it. But at the same time, managers like Pep Guardiola don't win anything without making it overcomplicated. Like, I look at Guardiola, and as much as he's won so many trophies, I reckon Lewis has come on sometimes and be like, flipping hell, what you doing? But at the end of it, you probably say, what a genius. Can we say the same about Arteta though? Because at the end of the day, he's how many years been here now, and he's always
4.5.
his mismanagement. Yeah, his mismanagement on the team has been his kind of downfall in a sense. I just look at it, I think you can't be Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola will do something, experiment something because he's a genius, but you aren't a genius. So stop it. Work with what you've got.
Agree. No, I agree with that.
And you know what I mean? And do simple things right. And then bring in the small little players that are good. And I mean good. Then you put them around it, but not Havertz. And I just think for me, he might be a scapegoat to a lot of people because other people are not performing. But at the same time, you were better without him. And I just don't know if he's going to add anything to your squad. If he's a starter, if he's a bench player, nobody would give a shit because it's like, he's a bench player. But he's now a starter and it adds everything to it. It really does.
Yeah, interesting. LB, I kind of agree with everything Said's saying, man. I think sometimes this tinkering is actually it's becoming arrogant from him. He didn't even get last season's formation right to win anything with. Now it's like, chuck that in the bin, let's go do this. And it does seem to me that it might bite him in the backside, man. And I don't even know if it's him shoehorning Havertz in. I don't know the obsession with Partey at right back, Ben White back in the middle. We're basically weaker, and we don't need to be. Gabriel is our best defender. He's on the bench. No one knows why. Partey's at right back, best centre midfielder in the league, or at least one of them alongside Rodri and Casemiro. No longer in the middle, playing right back. Ben White was all right at centre back in his first year, but was sensational at right back. He's no longer there. And Saka and Martinelli aren't that great anymore because what's happening? There's no partnerships. So Gabriel and Saliba's partnership's gone. The Partey relationship's gone. Everyone was excited for Partey, Rice and Odegaard. I think we'd all agree on here, 3 of the best midfielders in the league, not seeing it in the middle. Saka and Martinelli don't have their players behind them anymore. Like, this for me is just a bit of a nightmare. And I hope that we revert back because I tell you one thing, we got United next. We revert back, I'm confident to beat them because of where they are at the moment. We play that system, we ain't winning. They'll easily get a draw at least. So, listen, it's all over the place, LB.
It is, bro. Listen, I've got to say, I've been, again, when I say this, I say this as a sort of like neutral view rather than like a City view, but I've been disappointed with how Arsenal have acted in the last 8 months as this big club. I feel, going back to January, right, when you guys was in control of the Premier League, you guys had the opportunity there to go and seriously strengthen your squad, be serious, and be like, we're winning this title. We've got a great opportunity to win this title. You guys weren't serious, man. I think you bought like Jorginho on that. Not serious, right? He's then obviously bottled the league. And by the way, the year before, he bottled the top 4, right? This summer, I just don't get what he's doing or the club is doing at Arsenal. You had a chance to go out there and seriously improve your squad and say, you know what? We were this close. And okay, it might have been the players' fault for bottling it, the manager's fault for bottling it, the board's fault for not backing the manager enough in January, whatever. But we were that close. But let's not make no mistakes. Make no bones about it, The Havertz signing was Arteta's player, No one in the board said, let's go and sign Havertz. This was Arteta. I think the guy might have signed his own death warrant there at Arsenal with that signing.
I think it's a stupid decision.
It's because what he's done, he has now made this decision into a binary outcome of it's going to work or it's not going to work. And everybody that doesn't like Arteta already at Arsenal, which there are a few, and rightly so because he bottled top 4 and then bottled the league, are going to beat the guy with a stick every single time Havertz doesn't perform well. He signed Raya for 25 million. I know it's loan, but it's like 25 million in the future installment, right? But that was basically a signing, right? So you signed Havertz for 60, Raya for 25. That's 85 million. What you doing, man? You know what I mean? You don't even need Raya as a backup goalkeeper. I know maybe in the future you might want to improve Ramsdale, but it's not like a urgent sort of improvement. That would have been 85 million that you could have put into, I don't know, another defender, an attacking player,
Caicedo,
which I've
someone like that.
Caicedo. Yet you're messing around with players like Havertz, who I'm not saying he's not going to work at Arsenal. He might well work at Arsenal. But the point is, we're Arsenal in a position to gamble. Because effectively, what Arteta's done there is gone into a casino, got 60 million and thrown it on red. And he's hoping that when that ball lands, he's hoping that it's on red. And if it's on red, all Arsenal fans and everyone at the end of the season is going to go, fucking hell, that was a sick signing. But if he doesn't work, which it probably won't, everyone's going to be like, yeah, well, why'd you do that for? That's dumb, innit? So I just think that what are Arsenal doing? And listen, I don't think that it's a panic station, but I just think you got to look at it and go, meh. You know what I mean? Like this, and this is why, Dan, you asked a simple question to Saeed. Do you think the squad has improved? He was right. The answer to the question is, well, your squad's not improved. And my question to people when I'm talking about Arsenal is, based off the first 3 games this season, which is granted only 3 games, so you don't have to panic mode, do you think they look better than last year? And the answer is clearly no.
Yeah,
Saka and Martinelli, they've not been the shining kind of two in the team. They've been, I know they got a goal or 2 and whatnot. And listen, I just don't think Martinelli's the same player this season. I think Saka still hasn't found the balance on that right hand side. He could be better. So
I think
again,
that's the system.
not only just that.
That's the system, though.
Yeah, but there you go. That's what I'm saying.
Affecting them both. Do you know what I mean?
Can I point something out as well? By the way, Said, on Saka. You know how Sky Sports keep on putting up this stat of, he's now set a record for starting 87 games in a row in the Premier League. No one else has ever done that. That's not
normal, though, is it?
That's not a good thing, man. Do you know what I mean? People are out here going, look at our star boy. He starts every game. He never gets injured. That's not a good thing. You should be in and out.
Yeah, you're right.
Getting that sort of that drive. When a young player, I've heard so many ex-players, pundits now on like Sky Sports, BT said when they were young, they get like 6 or 7 games in a row. I know he's like not that like young, but like you get 6, 7 games in a row, then they'd be out for a week, 2 weeks, and then they get that hunger. Yeah, I'm not saying that to that extent, but the fact that he plays every single game, it's no wonder the kid was crap at the end of the season last year because he was burdened with all the pressure. He was starting every single game. Not normal. You know what I mean?
He's carried us, mate, as well. He's carried us for about 2.5 years now, Saka. I'm not having bad words said about him. I can't believe people were. They were like, he doesn't look the same player. Why do you think that is, man? Club and country every game, 82, 87 games.
People need to stop it, Dan. People, because obviously we're invested, because we're all England fans. We want England to do well. I'm telling you now, if Arsenal keep doing this with Saka, the guy will be dusted in a couple of years because he cannot continue. It's the same with, by the way, it's the same with Rodri at my football club. I know he's older, but like we need to sort that out.
He said it, Rodri, as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's not normal, Saeed. Yeah. People keep glowing it up.
He said I've played a lot of games.
Yeah, and Saka's going to be there, bro. And the weird thing is with Saka, it's even worse because you all know it. He's still like 21. His body's probably still slightly like progressing and developing. He shouldn't be in the team that much, man. It's not right. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Nice, spot on.
Yeah,
man. Spot on.
No, you're spot on, man. Said, let's talk about your club, man, because I can't lie, we've got some problems. But wow, it looks mental over there. Do you know what I heard a couple of days ago that Man United were inquiring about Ryan Bertrand, and I was done. I was like, I am done with this club, man. That club, I'm not serious anymore. Luke Shaw being out this long. Just hearing in the chat now, apparently Rafael Varane is out for 6 weeks. He's going to miss the game of the
just seen that as well, man. Absolutely gutted. Our best defender, man. I just think it's getting bad to worse, man. And it's just one of them where, you know what I mean? It's just draining, man. I can't lie to you. This football club is draining me, man. You know what I mean? Every minute. Like, I did my laundry today, yeah. And when I was doing my laundry, I seen like so many bad news. I was like, can you just leave me alone while I'm doing my laundry? You know what I mean? Like, it's too much, man. It's too much. And Varane's a big, big blow. If he is out, and like I said, Sky Cave is obviously, he's a journalist that works for Sky Sports, but I don't know how he's got that news before anyone else, like, especially the leading Manchester journalists. So we have to wait and see if that's credible or not. But Lindelof, Maguire's still there. Johnny Evans has signed a new contract for 1 year. Well, signed a contract for 1 year, should I say? It's a mess, man. We haven't got a midfielder that we needed. Amrabat's still waiting. Imagine not training because you think a club's going to come in for you. That's what we've done with Amrabat. We've literally told him
weeks and weeks you've been with him.
Months. I think with months, I'll be honest with you. We've been linked with him all summer. I think for me, it's not good enough, man. Yeah, it ain't easy, mate. I'm telling you, Eros, it isn't easy. You know, Amrabat's been waiting there. We're now linked with Højbjerg, and I'm just like, really? Like, really? Like, it's just, and obviously Ten Hag's getting a lot of brunt of it. But I always think with a football club, right? If you have an ecosystem and you have a football club that has a philosophy and a way of thinking, and you're looking at Man City as probably one of the biggest examples. And I think Arsenal are kind of following that model with Edu coming in. You know, you have people in charge who are footballing people. They all come under one umbrella. They know what they're doing. They target people. They have a good recruitment plan. They know what to do if any emergencies happen. They've got 2 or 3 players identified, and Pep Guardiola has a prime target, and there's backups if they need to. But what you got to realize is that we don't have that at the minute. We are literally on Ten Hag watch, because I feel like for me, you know, he's identified certain players in what he knows, and that's down to the mishap of the board. Because a lot of people are saying, yeah, Ten Hag's ID is a fraud, this and that, but you got to remember John Myrtle and Richard Arnold, who are part of the football club and part of the structure. I don't think they have a database that will provide the manager with great confidence to say, you know what, we do have things available. Or what's going on here? Manchester United have submitted a proposal for Mark Cucurella. Talks ongoing. Okay, so it looks like Mark Cucurella, David Ornstein just dropped something there.
Yeah, I
Again,
see that.
Cucurella, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not really feeling it. Like, again, it's for
And it's
me,
a
A weird
loan
one
side
that.
as well, isn't it? It's a loan, man. Like, what's all
it's
that
a
It's a
about?
loan,
weird
yeah.
one that Chelsea, because
Offer
Chelsea have got that
initial
young
loan.
brother they like, haven't they? They've sold Hall, and they've got that young guy they
Yeah,
like after what's his name? After Chilwell, can't remember his name. He's been coming on though. Poch likes him, but I can't remember his name. But yeah, that's why Cucurella they reckon he's going to go. That's a weird one, that man. That's a
you
weird
know what I
one.
mean?
He's been
It's a
poor as
weird one,
well.
man. I don't rate him at all. I really don't rate him at all. You know what I mean? But again, the manager's gone with it, and he's gone with what he believes is good for the squad. But again, I
Is
don't
this
really
his
agree
signing,
with that.
Saeed, do you reckon? Is this a Ten
No,
Hag
no, I
signing?
think this one here, I think it's what's out there in the market. It could be
It's like
his
more
signing.
panic.
Yeah, it could be his signing. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd rather develop what's his name? Alvaro Fernandez. I look at Man City; they got Rico Lewis. You know, Chelsea have got that kid Lewis Hall, Matson. They're trying to develop him. Like, I just look at it, I'm thinking, you know, in these situations where you've got 2 left backs out, I don't think United should go and get go and get another left back from a different club that isn't doing well, especially isn't doing well, and his form is dipped. I think you should have confidence in your youth players, and especially Alvaro Fernandez. He's been part of the setup under Ten Hag for 2 years now. He's had one summer before that where he done well. He had another summer where he done well as well. Give players a chance. We got Dallo for 1 week. So you're gonna play Dallo anyway for the upcoming games, and just work with Alvaro Fernandez. That's what I would do. I don't think for me it's of benefit to go and get Cucurella. I really don't. I don't rate him at all. I think for me, what we lack in terms of physically, I don't think he's great anyway. So, yeah, I'm not really a fan of it. I really am not a fan. But then again, people will say it's the best of a bad bunch. And when you do that, it's not great anyway, man. But I don't know. Do you guys rate Cucurella? Like, be honest. Like,
I
do
think he's
you rate
all
him?
right, bro.
I
I think
liked
he's
him at
all
Brighton. I liked him at Brighton, but I haven't liked anyone at Chelsea. So I suppose if you get the
right.
Brighton Cucurella, you've got a good left back. But for me, I don't know, man. It ain't been great
If
as
you
it in
can get
Chelsea.
him on a loan deal, bro, with an obligation, not an obligation, an option to buy at a decent price, I think it's probably a risk worth taking in it. But listen, bro, your club's out in the mud. Like, I can't even lie. I'm predicting a bad year for United. I'm not even just saying that as a City fan. I just generally look at the
Yeah.
club, yeah, and I just think you had a decent year last year, and I've obviously raised red
Yeah.
flags and pointed out that maybe that people are looking on it better than it probably was, in my opinion, especially with the manager. But the facts are they still had a good year. Again, they should have kicked on straight away, be getting signings in early, getting it done early. As look at them this year, nah, don't like the transfer business. I've said openly that I think with the striker situation, that there wasn't really much they could do there. There ain't no one out there, you know what I mean? They obviously couldn't get Kane for whatever reason. So they got what they could get with the Hoyland guy. But I just look at it. I think Ten Hag's going to start coming under pressure if he doesn't start getting serious results. I think any game this year, if they shit more than 3 or 4 goals in a game, you've got to look at Ten Hag. You know what I mean? Because last year you can look at the Liverpool game
Yeah.
where you
You're spot
conceded
on.
7, and you looked at the City game where you conceded 6, and still that's unacceptable. And the manager's got to take some criticism. You can come out and be like, oh, they're learning a new system or whatever. Now, if they concede more than 3 in a game, that's on the manager, man. You know what I mean? You can't be. That's on the manager for his setup. So I think this year, whilst okay, he might not have been backed exactly the way he wanted, and they've struggled getting players in, and clearly United are struggling with finances or whatever. But I think the manager's going to be under pressure. I think Liverpool are going to be better than they were. Chelsea are going to be better. Arsenal are going to be up there. City are going to be up there. I think there's a good chance United might not even finish in the top 5 this year. And I'm not even saying that to banter the guy. I just look at it. I just think it's a shit show. Are they better than City?
Top 4, that's a minimum. That's a minimum, you know, man.
Yeah, but bro,
like,
okay,
it's a minimum.
This, yeah? Are they
it's
better
a
than
minimum,
City?
man.
No, they're not better than City. They're not better than Arsenal. Are they better than Liverpool? I don't think so. Not at
you
the
know what?
moment.
Though, let me ask you a question though. Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Newcastle. I think them 4 clubs, they're interchangeable. I think this season, either one of them could finish above each other. I don't think there's a clear, outstanding gap. I think with Chelsea, no 1 game a week. I think Tottenham have 1 game a week. Yeah. That kind of almost cancels out the quality of Man United and Man City. And Liverpool. And also Liverpool, I still think they're vulnerable. Like, we got to remember, Newcastle should have went 2-0 up. That Alisson save was unbelievable. And then obviously they crumbled. But I think the gap, United could finish, I'm not even kidding you, anywhere between 3rd and 6th to me. That's the way I kind of look at it. Like, it's anywhere, because I feel like every other team, they're inconsistent. Man City and Arsenal are going to, for me, still be 1 and 2. And then the rest of them are going to be scattergun. You don't know where they're going to be. Liverpool have won 14 games. Listen, 14 games unbeaten. But you got to remember, half of that came last season when they were on this run where I think, for me, they were playing without pressure. Let's be honest. Liverpool, when they played without pressure, they just kept winning games. But in reality, they weren't doing much. So, I don't know, man. After Scott, for me, listen, Liverpool have got their qualities, but I still think United can show a bit of consistency at home. And ultimately, away from home, they're poor. Liverpool, away from home, they struggled last season. There was a couple of games where they lost. Nottingham Forest at home. So, you know, I don't know. I just think for me, it could be anything. It really, really could.
I think you need another DM or something. Get another DM to help out Casemiro. I think Ten Hag needs to stop leaving him out there to dry. Yeah. And honestly, bro, I know you might not like it, but I don't think this Cucurella's a bad deal. I think getting him on a loan deal, if it's an option to buy, you know what I mean, with a decent price, then you don't have to activate at the end of the year.
Don't you need a striker still, Saeed, as well? Because you're basically an injury away from Martial being up top.
Yeah,
which ain't good enough.
we got Højlund, but obviously he might make his debut on the weekend, so that might be a good situation. But bro, I just think for me, like, you know what, we need a lot, but it's got to a point now where I'm having to prioritize where people should go in that regards. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, I don't want to prioritize anything. A football club like Man United should be able to get every single person they want. Like, come on, man. Like, it's not hard, is it? Just go and identify. And I said, I left Wembley in June, and I said Manchester United need 5 to 7 starters that come into the squad. I said it, 5 to 7 starters directly come into the squad, and I wasn't mincing my words. And we have only got as of right now, we have 1 starter, and that is Onana, because Mount's injured and Højlund's injured. That's not good enough. From where we were last season, getting bullied by Man City in that final, to where we are now, like, come on, man, that's not good enough. And when you look at Onana's role right now, we're not even seeing the best of his role because he keeps having to save us at the back. That was literally what we had with David Gea. Although he couldn't really do what he needed to do out for the back, he was still saving us in that regards. So it's not good enough, man. I'm not going to lie to you. My confidence is only high at the minute because I still believe somehow Ten Hag is a good manager. But at the same time, you need to be backed and you need to also have added quality. Now you're in the Champions League. Now there's an added pressure to have a better style of play. Now that you need to get closer to Man City. Expectations are always high at my United, man. So that's why I predicted 3rd at the start of the season. But it's not easy, man. Can't lie to you. It ain't easy.
This is why I questioned Ten Hag, though, Potts, a couple of weeks ago on the show.
Yeah, you did.
It's not because I don't rate the guy, but I don't think people fully understand just how big a job this is.
How big this job is. Man.
Yeah, people don't get it, man. Let's just talk facts here for a second, yeah? He's coming into a club which is a mess. Right? It's a mess. The owners and the fans hate each other. Well, not, the owners probably don't hate the fans. Well, maybe they do. Who knows? But the owners are shit. The board is a bit of a mess as well. The stadium's falling apart. They need a new training ground. They're completely outdated, as Ronaldo said when he left the football club. Nothing's changed. Like, the whole thing there needs to change. Not only that, he's now trying to completely change the style of the football club. When Pep Guardiola came in at City, we weren't playing Pep ball, but we weren't a million miles off it with Pellegrini. It wasn't a massive change to be done, whilst there was still a change to be done. All the players at his football club that he had when he first came into the club, there was probably a handful of players that he probably wanted to keep, and the rest probably weren't good enough for him. Further to that, he's not got the unlimited budget that City have got, that Chelsea have got, that even Arsenal are spending a lot of money these days. United are not. They're spending a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're not spending money, but they're not spending like the 300 million, the 1 billion that Chelsea could have it. That's why I questioned him. I'm saying the job at Man United is so huge. Yeah. And all I said was 2 weeks ago is that they've got a guy who's won a few league titles in Eredivisie. I know he had a decent Champions League run and that. I'm not stupid, but I'm just saying, is this guy good enough to do the job? And that's not in a disrespectful way to Ten Hag. It's more in a respectful way to Man United, because I'm respecting the whole change that needs to go on there. Now, the question that you could ask, is there anybody capable of changing it? Maybe not. Mourinho tried, didn't.
No, that's why I don't believe in sacking managers for me. Listen, you can sack managers if you want to challenge for the league and you think that's a gap between winning the league. Right now, Man United are not challenging. Man United needs stability. Anybody that wants this manager to be sacked, you're feeding into what the Glazers want for me, because I just think, you know what, this manager merry-go-round, we have the new set of players. We have a new manager. I'm tired. Listen, after Ollie, I promised that the next manager that comes through the door, I give the most time to, because I said to myself, you know what? A lot under Ollie, why he was there, because of sentiment. And it just angered me, because I was like, we need to be a proper run football club. I wanted Ten Hag over Pochettino. I made it clear, Manchester United, go and get Ten Hag over Pochettino. And now we've got to back him. This is only the second year. You know what I mean? We've got to allow a manager to struggle. We've got to allow the manager to understand his shortcomings, understand where he's gone wrong, and rectify it. If he doesn't rectify it, and I see some alarming issues come, let's say, September, etc., I think for me, that's where the concerns are. Sorry, December. Then I think that's where the concerns will be with me, where I'm like, oh, hold on a minute. December's coming now. We're 8th, 9th of the league. We're not playing good football. We're out of the Champions League. We're probably out the Carabao Cup. And it's going like, you can see the players are not understanding what the manager wants. Then that's when you got to start to understand, you know what? Questions have to be asked. And then the pressure becomes inevitable, really. But for me, you go and get, what's his name? Because a lot of people will say, go and get that manager from Brighton. What's his name? De Zerbi. And he might play good football. And people will say, oh, this is lovely football. But if you don't win anything and we still don't get to where we need to be, then is it really changed? What
would be a good season sacking managers? What would be a good season for Man United?
For me, finish third and win a trophy. I think that would be a good season for Man United. And I know that's why, for me, I don't think United finish second, because I think that means you're in a title race. I think finish third and win a trophy. I don't think anything else is probably,
I know your expectations. For me, bro, I swear down, I think top 5. Get in the Champions League by hook or crook. I don't care if I was United. If I get in there, and then because for me,
it's the same thing anyway. 3rd and 5th is the same thing.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So it's not as if it's
Yeah. But if you sort of that, for me, get yourself back in the Champions League. Yeah, that's the main thing for me. And the main thing for me that I'd like to see from United this year, that I didn't see, I've still not seen, is Ten Hag just say, I'm playing my style of football. Still not seeing it. Do you know what I mean? How long does this guy want before he starts playing out from the back? You know what I mean?
That you're right. That
you need to start playing Ten Hag
style of players in there
and finish top 5. I think United are going to be in for a tricky year. They're in the Champions League. I think there's going to be a bit of expectation on them, but get back in the top five, get in the Champions League. Let's start seeing some proper style of football, and then have another transfer window next summer where they can potentially look at kicking on. But I'm telling you, I'm looking at United this year, and I think that they could be in for a bit of a rough ride, man.
I think United are looking at other teams around them thinking, please just keep being this crap because we might have a chance. I mean, if any of those start to improve, I think United might struggle, man. Listen, we're going to have to wrap up in a couple of minutes because we've both got other shows. But LB, I've left you to last on purpose because you guys have got no trouble at the moment, whereas me and Saeed are struggling.
Yeah.
But you guys looking like very strong, man. I think you probably had the best transfer window, if I'm honest, because I know you've lost players, but you've got Jeremy Doku in to replace Mahrez. You've got Kovacic in early, who looks like he's been playing there a long time, to replace Gundogan. You've obviously got Vardy in to replace Laporte, which some would say is a huge upgrade, and I would agree on that. You must be happy, bro. Like you said to me, you thought you'd walk the league. You still stay. You're going to walk the league. Do you really think like this could be like 10, 15 points City win this league by?
Yeah,
Oh
bro, I do.
my.
I genuinely do, mate. And it's
Wow.
saying it's not. I'm not. It's not that I'm looking at City and going, "Oh, we're well better than everyone else. We'll piss it." I look at Arsenal, and again, I caveat it with the fact it's only been 3 games. You know what I mean? But I look at you and I don't think you've improved, and I don't think there's anyone else there to do it. I think the league needs to hope that without Kevin De Bruyne, we just kind of fall off until he comes back in January, February time. But I'm telling you, man, Phil Foden's cooking. He come on for 12 minutes with our best player against Sheffield United. Our defense is so strong that we can nick games 1-0. I
And
mean,
Rodri as well, man. Best in the world
Rodri.
for me.
So
Rodri.
listen, I do think we'll walk the league. You know what I mean? And it's like I say, it's not even on a we're mint. It's more that I'm looking at everyone else and going, I just don't think you're near the standard. Now, like I say, with Arsenal, it's early days. Maybe Rice will start to get in there. Maybe Arteta will change the system back, and you guys will start getting, you'll start cooking. And if that happens, then who knows? But based off the limited minutes that we've seen so far, I don't think Arsenal are near. I don't think Liverpool are near. United are miles off. Chelsea still gonna have an up and down season, and that's obviously Newcastle lost 2 games already. I don't think they're up there. So, yeah, listen. From a
Yeah.
neutral's point of view, they probably don't want to see it, but I think City will walk the league this year.
I look at Man City's next 4 fixtures: Fulham at home, West Ham away, Forest at home, and Wolves away. I mean, I can see you being on 21 points in 7 games, and that's going to be difficult for anyone to catch up then, I'll tell you. But listen, it's an interesting one. Just lastly, before we close, Man United opening bid sent to Chelsea for Cucurella after talks revealed 2 days ago. Understand the loan fee offered is in excess of £2 million. Chelsea want more, talks ongoing to make it happen.
What, 7 million? Which
Cucurella
is
opening
madness.
to
7
join.
million. Crazy, man.
For a
Crazy.
loan.
You've got Alvaro Fernandez is right there.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd bother with that, Saeed, but let's see. Listen, we got to wrap up. Make sure you stay tuned. We're heading straight over to Saeed's channel, where he's got Rival Talk Show, which was well worth a watch if you guys have not seen it. So make sure you get over to Saeed TV after this one. Make sure you like and subscribe to this, please. We're getting close towards 12K, very, very close now. So let's keep plugging away and make sure you go over to It's LB. Until then, we'll see you next time. Big up LB, big up Saeed, big up everyone.
Solid show.
Coming on.
Come on.
We will see you next time, people. Take it easy.